I had this really powerful story my fourth day on the job from one of Coach Wooden's alumni, John Valley. And he just walked in and he said, I've been married 38 years because of what Coach Wooden taught me. I've started 3 successful businesses because of what Coach Wooden taught me. Conquered cancer 3 times because of the strength Coach Wooden gave me. And then he said, I survived the death of my 12-year-old daughter, Erin, because of the way Coach Wooden loved me. And then he walks out the door and says, I'll see you at Dribble for the Cure. Welcome back to UCLA. And I was like, who is this guy? And I ran over to the computer and I looked him up. And he was the starting guard on 2 of Coach Wooden's national championship teams. And he played 7 years in the NBA. But he didn't mention either because it paled in comparison to the man he became. And so I just said, how many uncommon John Valley stories can we create? And that's been the quest ever since.
Wow. I literally have the hair on the back of my neck is, I mean, it's amazing. Listen to you talk. And that's really what the coach's missions are in life, right? When you pull back, it's the impact they make on people. And you're clearly doing that. I had the great fortune of working with Coach Dungy for a few years at NBC. And, I tried in his presence as much as I could just to be quiet and prompt him to talk, which is hard to do because he's such a humble guy. But he has such amazing stories and such great wisdom. And like you said, he lives it. He lives it. The integrity that he has and how his words match his actions, really like none other. And he's certainly a gift to humanity and to coaching. And it's been so much fun to be around him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I think about what you're doing there. Like I said, you win the national championship. You've built one of the best programs in college sports. Your record over the last 4 years is, I don't know, 125 and 21, something ridiculous. So to take this approach, this process-oriented approach, this approach of trying to help everyone be better in their life and then still have the results to back it up, it's pretty amazing. Do you see a correlation between the two, the success you have with your mission and then how they perform on the court?
Yeah, I hope so. I ask kids all the time, like, if you feel challenged, poured into, if you feel, that you are really proud of who you're becoming, do you think you're going to play better or worse? And because sometimes I get a reputation like, oh, she's just this fluffy kind of kumbaya coach, whatever else. And it couldn't be further from the truth. But sometimes in recruiting, perception is reality. And so, I just say to them, look, I'm as competitive as you're ever going to find. But I just believe a competitive greatness outcomes or results will find you when you are present and committed to a championship process. Like, everybody has the same goals. Everybody wants to win a national championship. Everybody wants to be an All-American. Everybody wants to make the WNBA in my world. But it's your commitments, not your feelings, that will lead you to your destiny. It's that process. And that's probably my proudest moment from this, or not moment, but from this championship year, is to watch the women choose to sacrifice individually for the sake of the team on a very consistent basis, and then have it come back to them tenfold to have all 6 players drafted, 5 in the first round. That's never been done. And because now it allows me to go into these recruits' homes and say, look, our process works. But you have to stay committed to that. Was a byproduct. That's not what we led with. That just legitimizes what the process is. And even with the parents, I just have really tried to challenge the parents, the agents, look, this is my process. It isn't for everybody, but you've got to be okay with how I go about doing this. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And 2 years ago, we actually really struggled with alignment in that area. And I had 6 players leave my program. And it was devastating to me. It rocked me. And then to watch this year, the parents, even, I had quarterly Zooms with them and said, look, we've all got to be sacrificing and we can't have any distractions. And we have to be able to shut out some of these outside noise that they don't know. And if you ever want to come to practice for a whole week, you can do it. But if you're not willing to do that, you really can't have an opinion. And so that was really a hard battle. But when we were at the draft, and with every single name that was called, the dads and the brothers jumped into this mosh pit, and I just had tears in my eyes, because that was a significant change of what it was a year ago. And it just is a great life lesson, right? When you truly serve, when you truly give up something and do something for the greater good and something bigger than yourself, it comes back to you tenfold. And it was just a vivid reminder that that's really worth it.